fantastic conversations.
Great to see you again. It's good weather. You want to agree with that?
Yeah, I love weather. Trending music.
I live the life that I love. I love the life that I live. Tomorrow.
Traffic updates.
Ojoba and Church intersections is good. There's no cause for alarm.
Sports. And everything fun is right here on Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch that dial.
Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is where I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing. We are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join ᴏᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial. Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situation.
Don't worry, I see you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money 5 years ago. It's no news that the government has not done enough by you. We feel your pain and we wish things could be different as we continue to call on government to wake up to their responsibilities. We want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from Mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
Gender equality is a human rights issue. It is about ensuring that everyone, regardless of their gender, has the same opportunities, rights, and protections. Challenging stereotypes, breaking down barriers, and creating a more inclusive society where everyone is treated with respect and dignity is a collective responsibility. Gender disparities start out small, in homes and communities, and these harmful gender norms progress and are perpetuated at the highest levels. In some countries, they become entrenched in laws and policies that violate the rights of individuals because of their gender. Discriminatory teaching practices and education materials also produce gender gaps in learning and skills development. Let us stand up for gender equality, support each other, and strive for a world where everyone can thrive and reach their full potential.
things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇ should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Oᴘᴜᴜt괜બ્ᴇ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Oga Police, no worry, I see you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money 5 years ago. It's no news that the government has not done enough by you. We feel your pain and we wish things could be different as we continue to call on government to wake up to their responsibilities. We want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from Mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Today is Friday, the second day of the month of August 2024. I'm super excited to be with you today as usual, and today is the last edition of the show for the week, and you would admit with me that it's been a very engaging week, no doubt about that. Started off with the very respected Islamic cleric and scholar Sheikh Gumi joining me on the show on Monday from 4 to 5:30, and he clearly almost predicted what has been going on in some northern states since yesterday. I talked about the fact that if the protest should go on in the north, it could lead to chaos, and that's what we've been seeing since yesterday. Borno State is under curfew because of the bomb blast that happened yesterday. Unfortunately, another one was reported to have happened the early hours of today again, killing one person and injuring a few other people. There's Kano as well, the breakdown of law and order in Kano, the looting and the destruction at the Nigerian Communication Commission Empowerment Center yesterday. Then while we were on air yesterday, the news broke that Governor Abba Yusuf have declared curfew in Kano, in some part of Kaduna yesterday as well. Abuja, the seat of power, had been constantly under issues with protesters and the police. One of the he said he's not one of the conveners of the Take It Back movement. He said he's just a lawyer to the movement. June was on national TV yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that the people were attacked. He said over 500 canisters of tear gas were thrown into the protesters. A lot of issues left, right, and center since yesterday. But I was at the protest ground today at Ojota, and the number today, quite more than we had yesterday. And Nigerians, Lagosians have continued to peacefully demand for good governance from the people they voted into office, and even the ones that didn't vote into office. it is their right to have dividends of democracy, respect of your political affiliation, respect of your tribal sentiment, or your religious, beliefs. The government is indebted to fulfilling your constitutional rights, to protection of your lives and your properties. It's quite unfortunate that we saw quite a lot of destructions of properties, and lives were also lost in some states yesterday as a result of the protest. Well, there's been normalcy in a few of those states because of the curfew that was immediately declared by the executive officers of those states as the governors. It has brought some level of normalcy, but we're still following events in Abuja, which I didn't exactly look really good. But Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇ is going to be joining us on the show today via phone, and in between that as well, the governor of Ogun State, His Excellency Prince Dapò Abiodun, was on national TV yesterday night as well. And in his attempt to defend Mr. President, he kind of made some it's not something that sounds exactly palatable. Some really uninteresting remarks about Nigerians, and I'm going to play you that sound bite. But first off, let me talk to Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇ. Of course, you know him, one of the coordinators of the Take It Back movement in Lagos here. Remember, he's always been at the forefront, especially for the NSAS protests that were arrested and detained. So he's going to join us today, and then we'll look at how the last 24 hours has gone according to plans, or it has gone out of control. How are Nigerians taking the protest? Because the last few days, especially as a build up to the protest, people have been asking questions. A lot of fears were expressed by the people because of how heightened the entire state or the country was. Traditional institutions were coming out, town criers of traditional rulers were sending messages that people should not come out to protest. The political class as well were not left out. I first saw the former governor of Abia State, that's Senator WG He gave a statement appealing to Nigerians. The president of the Nigerian Senate, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, the speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, all of them were speaking that, hey, Nigerians, you don't need to protest. And then, unfortunately, on the eve of the protest, the injunction or the court's order came through restricting the movement or the protest in Lagos to just the Garden Fahimi Park and the Unity Park, both of them in Ketu and Ojota and Ketu respectively. But Mainland FM gave comprehensive coverage of the day one of the protests. Yesterday we had a situation room studio where we got a correspondent from across the federation, while we were also on ground at the protest ground, sending you information. Today as well, I've been at the protest ground, and like I said, the numbers today were even more than it was yesterday. And for the second day running, except a couple of issues left and right, the level of coordination have been very impressive, as against the fear of a lot of people thinking that, Lagos was going to do this because of the scale of the NSAS. But from someone that had been at the forefront of all of these advocacy for good governance, he's also had his own share with police. I'm talking about Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇ. He's live on the show with me today via phone, and together we just look at what it's been like the last 2 days, or let me say the last 24 hours, at the end of bad governance in Nigeria protest started. I saw Deji Adeyanju also on national TV yesterday giving his position from Abuja, but Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇ is with us in Lagos and he joins me on the show. Good evening, Ayo. Good to have you on the show today. It's been a while. We had a conversation.
Oh yes, good evening. Good for having me. Thank you.
So I know that your desk is full, literally. You understand what I'm saying? It's been coordination and making sure that the right of protesters are respected by the relevant authorities. It's been up and down for you. But talk to us about first off the build up to these protests, the counter protest to a protest that had not even started. I mean, I remember Said Fuad was talking to me on Wednesday, and he says he can't explain why people would use the same thing they are kicking against to challenge what they are kicking against. So you have a protest to protest against a protest. Talk to us about all of this, Ayoyinka, and what has it been like in the last 24 hours?
Thank you. It is clear hunger in the land that you'll be able to get people to help you to do a counter protest by paying them 5,000 or whatever. It is clear that there's hunger in the land. If people are not hungry, they are comfortable in their homes, they can feed, they can pay their rent and all that, nobody will come and meet you and tell you to go and protest for people, because you look at the person like, are you normal? Who are you? Am I your servant? Am I your slave? But they have turned Nigerians to beggars, to puppets, to people that will be feeding as they wake up. What am I going to eat today? I don't know until I wake up. And so the also of 5,000 just came from somebody that is connected with politicians, and they pick it up, and it's sad. And it shows how terrible the government, how far they can go in order to just push down a narrative instead of focusing on the demands of why Nigerians are crying. We had almost about 2 weeks of calling this protest. In that 2 weeks, the demands were already housed. A wise reasonable government, looking the fact that you are government supposed to be for the people, that's the democracy is for the people, by the people, and you are hearing so much noise that there are people that are requesting for this demand. Instead of it to for me to work with up those demands, where the two propaganda anyway to call the protest. Unfortunately, no greatest mobilizer protest for the government and the agency.
Thank you very much, Ayoyinka, for setting the conversation up for us. But from our observations nationwide, how would you, state? Let me put it this way: what would you say about the vandalization, destruction of properties, and the unfortunate, death of people across the federation, especially from the northern region, to this protest? During the NSAS, let me take it back a bit. In 2020, a lot of people felt like, even though, because I remember in 2020 I was in the northern state and there were counter anti-NSAS protests. What I mean is that people were protesting that there should be SARS. So a lot of people felt like, oh, it was a southwestern issue or it was a southern issue. Let me limit it that way. I mean, we saw the destruction, the level of destruction in Lagos, in some other neighboring state as well. But this time around, Ayo, it looks like the northerners took it a whole new level. Curfews in Kano, curfews in Maiduguri, although as a result of the bomb blast, Abuja had been under siege. Dejade Onju was on TV yesterday night, giving his own account of the experience in Abuja yesterday. Kaduna as well, even though we've had peaceful protests in Jos and a few other states. Why did it take that dimension up north, Ayo?
Yeah, it's not just in the north. The police and some of their government agencies and some government officials, and UK is someone that you can allege, they don't want the protest to take place. To them, they see it as a disgrace to the government. To them, they see it as people are a waste of time. To them, they see it as a political game. So they find every way to prevent the people from coming out. And one of the ways, like I always tell people, I'm protesting in this country for years. One of the ways in which government find an excuse to end the protest, to stop the protest, is to declare it violent. And how did they declare violent? They mobilize thugs to the streets to either fight protesters or cause some havoc or start looting some places. And they once they do that, the police start firing and all that. In Abuja today, the people avoided the thugs. The people did not allow the thugs to infiltrate them. Seeing that the people did not even allow violence, the police in Abuja just for no reason started firing tear gas canister on the people. When we are in a so-called democracy, 21st century, and you are telling people that they cannot protest peacefully on their streets, in their homes, in their local government, in their state, they cannot assemble and demand for a better society. This government is the one shooting itself on the foot. Clearly, they are the one doing that. So what you see in the north, you see why we here in probably in the southwest or in the south try to avoid us, don't fight them, we move back and all that. some of the people up there might not take those things, so there might be some clashes and all that. But I can tell you, a majority of whatever you have seen that has turned a bit violent in the north is the handwork of the government. Because what do they want to do? They just want to end the protest. And it's sad. It's sad that we go to that length just because we want to, do propaganda to quell down a protest.
Okay, thank you very much. In case you're just tuning in, I've been speaking with Comrade Ayoyinka, popularly called Comrade AY. He's a very right activist and humanist, a public affairs, let me put it this way, a political activist, because he's always been at the forefront of conversations around welfare, the right of the people to be protected. And we're looking at, the review of the day 2 of the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest. Now, let me ask you, Comrade, as a build up to this protest, Lagos was charged up. There were traditional rulers, sending messages. In Ikorodu, for instance, we saw the traditional institutions getting involved, cursing people that will come out to protest. Even in some part of Lagos, Iba, one of the town crier of the king, also came out to say, people shouldn't come out. There were videos of thugs reportedly, threatening the people in the market. But I was at Ojota yesterday. I've been there today also. I had to come to the studio for the show. In the face of all of this, Comrade, how would you, rate or view the response of Lagosians? All of the things they were asking for yesterday was change the government policy, bring back subsidy, open the borders, secure the people, provide education, provide health. These are the things that Nigerians are asking for. In the face of all of those threats and chaos, how would you rate the turnout yesterday and today?
Yeah, let me even start briefly with those repression or demobilization techniques, which is not alien to some of us, which have been doing this for many years. And it's also a trait outside it is that our traditional rulers have just become traditional men under the government payroll that don't have a mind of their own. Old men, that can't think for themselves. They don't understand that their duty is for peace, progress, and to protect their people. All their life is just to serve the government. Where were they the last 1 year to Nigeria were suffering? Suddenly they started getting press interview, releasing statements like they truly care, using and all these things to scare the people, using talk, protesting, using talk, going to the market, threatening people. It's wrong, it's sad, and it's terrible in a nation like this, claiming to be having democracy. But regardless of that, the Lagosians show courage, because not only did they threaten, they also told their transport workers not to walk in almost all parts of Lagos. So that people will not have transportation access. They also rallied all their local government chairman to say, okay, now that they are not going to have transportation access to the venue that has been declared Ikeja, now in the local government, you dare not protest. They went through all those local government threatening people. You must not protest in the local government. Having talks on standby. But guess what? Despite that, the people came out in their numbers. And the march started yesterday at the other bridge to Ojota. And the people said, okay, since we are gathering at Ojota, let's just meet at Ojota instead of moving, And people also at Alausa, even yesterday, I can tell you that people protested at Agege in Lagos. Nigerians cannot be caged, Nigerians cannot be cowed because a government is refusing to take responsibility. What are these people requesting for us? Are they too much? We have over 150 problems in this country. They try to put everything into 15 demands for you, and they are telling you this is why you are voted. Take responsibility. Do these things. Hunger in the land. There's unemployment in the land. People are committing suicide. The police is now trying to prepare level for committing suicide. But when a man is so tired of life, he's working so hard, he's not seeing the purpose of his working. He has money. His money does not have value. It's not a lot of people that can manage the mental issue. They are saying pay Nigerians worker a minimum wage of over 250,000. 70,000 cannot go anywhere. Look at the school fees of this young girl in the university. Over 400. If you are even earning $1 million and you pay 400 for a semester, it's the only one child you have. What are you going to use the money to do? So these are the issues. Bring back subsidy, reduce this price. I can only all producing countries buy fuel for 1.3, for 1.4, for 1.5. These are the issues the masses who are asking you. 2 weeks. The presidency should have started working on it and table before Nigerians. These are the things I've done since you started speaking. Why don't you reconsider this protest? No, they didn't do that. They were mobilizing people, even through funds in the press, in the media, social media, paying influencers 750,000, 450,000 just to tweet against a protest. Why are adults thinking like kids? And to make matters worse, the people that are even coming out to speak, look at Dapo Abiodun from Ogun State. He sat down on national TV and he called Nigerians a sore loser.
Comrade,
that's why they are protesting.
Comrade, can I keep you on the line and let me play you the inserts or the soundbite of what you just mentioned? I already have it here. I was going to play it, but because I connected with you early enough, you're going to pick up that conversation from there. Yesterday night, the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, His Excellency Prince Dapo Abiodun, was on national TV and he made some not so interesting remarks about Nigerians as the reason why they were protesting. He writes clearly assure them by the constitution that is binding every single one of us in this country, including the Inspector General of Police, including Mr. President himself, including the governor of Ogun State. I'm going to keep you on the line. You would listen to the soundbite. Then one would come back. We'll pick it up from there. And I'm also going to ask you, where do we go from here? There were reported thugs that came to the Ojota venue today to disrupt the protest, but the people were, they defended themselves, and it didn't turn into as much chaos as it would have on a normal day. But it's not like that in other states. People are being killed as a result of this protest, and governors are declaring curfew. But before we continue, let me play this soundbite. It is the voice of the governor of Ogun State, Arigede. The Prince Dapo Abiodun himself was on national TV yesterday. Take a listen to what he said.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 45:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Oᴑᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial. Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Majority of Nigerians voted for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the judge, what I'm saying is, he majorly won that election, and that says one thing: those that wanted him to be president were far more than those that didn't want him to be president. The problem we have today is that Nigerians are sore losers. Rather than decide or accept the fact that if you want a regime change, wait till 2027. Don't begin to sponsor faceless, leaderless protests under the guise that you are dissatisfied. Yes, like I said, the current reality is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. What we are feeling here, Ghana, there were protests in Ghana yesterday. There are protests in London today, in the UK. So what are we talking about? So like I said, the medicine for a headache is not to cut off the head. We must all work together, join hands together, and speak to each other. Let us have a dialogue that is constructive, knowing that you have a responsive administration in place.
Corin, did you hear the soundbite that I just played? Hello?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. We're going to start from there.
I did.
On the build up to this particular protest, the handlers of the presidency, the likes of Mr. Bayo Onanuga, had made some statements that there's been accusations against members of the opposition party and all of that. But hearing this from a democratically elected governor that is serving a second term in Nigeria, calling Nigerians sore losers on the basis of whatever political decision they made at the polls. What does this say about the mindset of the people that are governing us here? Don't forget that about 2 months ago, when also the Minister of Power was defending the classism that was brought into democracy in the name of Band A and Band B and all of that, he said Nigerians lack power management skills. That means how do you put all of these things together? Especially what was said yesterday coming down from a governor.
Yeah, I honestly do not understand where to look for these arrogant people who lack leadership quality in every ramification. They don't know how to talk, they don't have the right body language, they don't know how to act, their policies are terrible, and when people say to their faces that these policies are not working, they go around to speak to you like they are emperor, The problem of these people is because most of them just buy their way into power. They force their way into power. There's no proper election that will make them properly accountable. That's why the man who you call a prince, which for me he did not speak like a prince, because we know how our prince, after those days, the governor of Ogun State will come out and call Nigerians sore losers. Go and look at the demands of this end-back government protest. It has nothing to do with the election. There's no single word about the election there. The only thing I can make to bring out electoral is there is probably the restructuring, which will affect every of our structures in this country. But nobody's talking about whether to do one election or whatever. They are saying now that you are there, give us good governance. That is all. But you are coming around turning into Nigerians are sore losers that want to cut off the head. He's asking people to do what is right, cutting off his head. Is it cutting off his head? Is it too difficult to give the people good life? Is that not why it was said he won the election in the first place? So these people are in fact, they are the ones inciting violence. They are the ones that do not, started from Bayo Onanuga, many of them wicked. They have been saying all sorts of rubbish since the call of this protest started. And they are the ones putting the president into more problems. And I don't know why he has refused to speak. Now I feel that these people can be able to call Nigerians. I tell people, even if some of us are not organizing today, we decide to go and sleep, Nigerians will still fight back. The only problem is that if it's not properly organized, the fight back may not be civilized and in a democratic way, like some of us are doing today. Look at protesters all over, they have been peaceful. But what have you been doing all over the country? Shooting at people in Abuja that have been doing the same thing. Shooting tear gas, shooting directly at them. They have started bringing thugs with e-logs and white vehicles in Abuja. In Lagos today, thugs came more than 3 times. In fact, one of the first times they came, the police were looking. It was when the people started shouting
that the police started responding.
You can imagine. So to tell you that the police know those thugs, they respect them in a way, they get order to leave them in a way. That's the kind of country that we are working, where thugs and police operate with each other. If the people were not massive in number and did not use their voice, the thugs will come there, disrupt the protest, beat some of them up. The police will do what? Go in, swoop in, and start arresting and putting tear gas. We cannot continue to live in a lawless society like this, where we feel that the solution, and I'm going to use this to speak about Shegalin, because I saw an interview that he did on Central. The man is consistently becoming I don't know the word to use now already, so I'll not sound a bit too harsh. But to me, it's looking like it's becoming a puppet nuisance. You can go and watch the interview, and he said it, that a civilian should be responsible for people that died because he called the protest. And he mentioned another thing. He said, why did they come out? Did they go and shoot them in their house? A man that's supposed to understand the constitution is saying Nigerians do not have the right to assemble in their country. That you cannot come out, you cannot move out. That if you move out and you protest, you can die. You will die. So the police can shoot you. He said that interview on News Central. So the government has literally forced the brain of people into thinking they do not have the right to speak. They don't have any right for voice. That when they make something right, they should be begging and kneel down in their house and do video and say, please, we are dying. Are we slaves? Are we slaves? The little thing to come out and exercise our democratic rights. They don't even want you to do it. And this is to speak to that building that democracy is not just elections. Election is one of the aspects and parts of democracy, and not just the kind of election we have in Nigeria. The kind of election we have in Nigeria is not a democratic election where you use stock. During the election, they use stock, they use police, they use DSS. During protest, the same thing. A peaceful, a free and fair election is democracy, and the right for people to speak, the right for them to get different from democracy, enjoy the benefit of their country. That is the whole round thing of democracy, not just you won election or the majority. And to correct it is not the majority. We have over 100 million Nigerians that are eligible to vote. How many people voted in the last election? Diaspora voting is one of the things that we are demanding for. So all these people are not leaders, and it's a shame that they will be called former governors, in the future. Very sad.
It's quite unfortunate, and I also need to put the numbers out. In the last election, the PDP candidate had about 6.9 million votes. The Labour Party candidate had about 6.1 million votes. And the other candidate as well, the African National Congress candidate, M소ɪᴟ, also had his numbers. If you put all of that together, as against the less than 9 million that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had, that means we had over 16 million Nigerians that did not vote for the president. So I really hope that some of these governors would sit down with these numbers and understand when they come to public space to call Nigerians unprintable names, because I'm still trying to justify why a sitting governor that was democratically elected twice will call people sore losers. It's distasteful to say the least.
Look at the roads in the state. It's failing also. What are you talking about? Probably you are even doing well. You can raise up your shoulder.
Now, comrade, going forward, I mean, I had the convener of the Take It Back movement, and then the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, comrade M소ɪᴟ, joined me last week Friday on the show, and he talked about 15 points or nothing. 2 days after the protests are kick-started, are we still sticking with that? 15 points or nothing, comrade?
Yes, those are the demands of Nigeria, not the demands of M소ɪᴟ, not my demands, and the demands of Nigeria that we try to put together so that it will not be too bogus. Those demands are achievable. Those demands are living demands. Those demands are demands that will transform this country. A wise government will say, oh, this is an opportunity for us to even fast track all the things we want to do. Those people that are trying to prevent us from doing these things, they can see that the people are crying now. If they try to prevent us, we'll point them. Can't you see they are protesting? All these things must go. Make those demands achievable. Diaspora voting must be introduced to allow Nigerians abroad to vote. Do you know the economic power those people send to this country every year? Those people transfer billions of dollars
in remittance,
yes, into this country. Yet they are citizens, they have voters card, they cannot vote. It's not terrible. We are saying make Nigerians have the wage, and instead of the loans that we are hearing up and down, give people grants, give student grants. not loans. Don't put pressure upon young people. How old will 21 years old, 22 years old be that you want him to be acquiring loans? His parents are still having loans that they have not finished paying. And as a government, the best policy that you think you can bring up is to give them loans. Even the regulations and the guarantees attached to that loan is even strenuous. They ask them to go and bring a permanent secretary or something to stand for them. It doesn't make any sense. Give student grants. Release Kano. It's part of the things, and demilitarize the southeast. It's part of the things that is causing rancor in that place. Solve problems in the society. But no, people keep killing themselves in the southeast. Nobody cares. Nobody is accountable. Unknown government is when I want to protest the government to say they have reliable news. They never have reliable news on violence and terror going on in the country. You know, the people also state reinstate a corrupt free subsidy regime. You are having subsidy and it's good for the people. People have made it corrupt, expose those corrupt people and bring back the subsidy, and so that the price of oil can come down, the price of diesel can come down. These are achievable things. Why do these people want to just continue with their greed? Simple achievable things. 15 demands. That's what Nigerians are standing on. Bola Ahmed Tinubu should wake up and do it. His country has been protesting since on the street is August 1, but they have been doing it since 1 day after his regime when he removed subsidy. It's not time for him to speak to the people like someone that really cares. If he's really a father of the nation, because that's not what the president is supposed to be. But if it's all these responses of the Wike and Abiodun and the rest, if that is what is going to be their response, they never can tell what is coming. If they think the population outside is many, the population that are still going to come is definitely going to be more, because Nigerians want peace and progress.
Thank you very much, Comrade Ayoyinka Oni, the former Lagos State coordinator of the Take It Back movement. But before I let you go, your final word is part of the demands on the 15-point agenda also says the protest would go on from 1st to 10th of August. But one of the PDP chieftains, Oᴘᴅᴜ Showomi, also said on TV that it is unrealistic to shut down a country for 10 days in the name of demanding. But even before I ask you this question, one of the things that helps democracy to grow is the presence of active opposition parties. During the 2019 election, we had over 70 political parties, but in 2023 we had 18 of them. Now there is APC. Labour Party has a governor in Abia State. The PDP also have a couple of governors. There are senators in the opposition. What would you say about the disposition of the opposition parties to this protest? I mean, one would expect with civil society organizations that serve as pressure groups, or our opposing political party would also come out if they believe in this protest. But in all, how would you rate the opposition, especially in Nigeria's democracy?
All right, so the word opposition has actually been bastardized, that it has to mean the party that also has governors and senators, in the house. But if you look at it critically, these parties that we're talking about, what are they opposing? Many of them are not opposing these policies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many of them are not opposing the corruption, That's not what they are opposing. They just also want to get power and do their own. Real opposition opposes the issues that are affecting the life of the people, the policies that are affecting the life of people. They are ready to go to any length under the evidence of the law to speak for the people. That is the real opposition. The only party that is doing it the way it should be done, that is a bit popular, is the African National Congress. If this my statement is not fact, you can recall to me that which party is mobilizing Nigerians on policies, which party is saying subsidy should never have gone, which party is saying Nigerians can get a living wage, not the 70,000. It's only AAC. Atiku treated that people can protest, but Atiku is not against removing subsidy. It's not against it. He said he will remove it. He said it in 2019, he said in 2023. Atiku even said he will sell all our refineries and everything. He said to his friends and cronies, he said it. Atiku does not hide his mouth. He's one of the people that sold all our assets when him and Obasanjo were there when he was vice president. So it's what he's going to continue to do. So opposition is not having governors that are useless to the people, senators that are useless to the people, that cannot speak for the people, that are also getting SUV. Opposition is opposing ideas that are affecting the life of Nigerians. If a party like African National Congress now have senators out of rep in the House, Nigerians should expect that it's going to be the beginning of Endurando for them. Because there was a time in these few months, last month, that the House of Assembly leader passed a law that the people in the House said nay to. He passed that law. The people even stayed, they walk out and does not care. That is the mess of the people that are in charge of lawmaking in this country. So PDP is not opposing anything. You can see Wike is a PDP person. At the same time, the same Wike is a minister and PDP government. Is almost the one controlling PDP. They are all together. The difference is that they just want more positions. They are not opposing themselves. And Labour, to be fair with them, Labour is just a sleepless from PDP and APC. So what are they going to oppose? In fact, when they try to rope Mr. Peter Obi into this protest, he quickly said, no, please, don't try to rope me, you know. And the purpose was to destabilize some of the people that are his followers, that are so interested in protesting. But him saying he support the protest was too big for him, that in a way surrender these people. But after some weeks of different persons, and they were saying, Peter Obi, how dare you do that? He quickly said, okay, I support, but so African National Congress is the really serious opposition at the national level in this country. And I'm not going to say it because I'm saying it. If you go to the street and check, many of the people are joining the people in protest because they support the people standing against themselves. If you leave them to prison, they don't care. If you leave them to their life, they don't care. Those are the people that want to sacrifice for the country. Nigerians really need to start appreciating those that stand for them, not those that want to work about the guys and claim that they are opposition.
Thank you very much, Comrade Ayoyinka Oni. I would need to let you go now. It's been, engaging having you on the show despite the very short notice. As always, you agreed to be on the show today. So once again, thank you very much. Stay safe and continue to ask the right questions and speak truth to power always.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, Comrade Ayoyinka Oni. Is a political activist, is the former Take-It-Back coordinator for Lagos State, one of the, as much as they said the protest is faceless and there's nobody behind it, a couple of leaflets were shared on the protest ground yesterday when Mainland FM went to cover it, and there were names of associations and phone numbers and email addresses on those particular leaflets, and so we continue to speak and we continue to hold government accountable, especially from the platform that we have or the platform that you own, but you handed over to us, which is Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll continue to ask questions. I just had a session with Comrade Ayoyinka Oni, popularly known as Comrade AY, the former Take It Back coordinator, Lagos State chapter movement, and he's been at the forefront. I've been seeing some of the stuff he's been doing, but let's see how we continue to make things work. Unfortunately, I watched the interview yesterday when the governor of Ogun State was on national TV, and I mean, the concern is very clear. As long as we don't run a one-party system in this country, and that means people are allowed to have their political affiliation irrespective of whatever bias anyone thinks. Don't get me wrong, I almost care less about what those political decisions are, because they are very relative to everybody. You have a PVC, it is exclusively for you, so you can make your political decisions and do whatever it is you choose to do. Yes, people will say elections have consequences, but I've always said it that people should not in any way be vilified on the basis of political decisions they make. So somebody says, oh, because you voted for party A and then the things are getting bad and you say it serves you right. No, people should have the right to make their political decisions. We've had parties that have not made things work. We've also had parties that have made it work. In the Second Republic, things were working a bit better than we have it right now. Fine, our democracy may not be on the exact track we expect it to be. 25 years down the line, beyond celebrating unbroken democracy, the longest stretch since independence, which is the Fourth Republic, what else have we gained? Still, it doesn't mean this democracy would not work. This is the only place we can call home, and we need to do everything possible within our power to make sure that this country is fixed. We continue to go through the electoral processes. We'll continue to hope and pray that things get better. We continue to hope and pray that the improvement in our political, conversation, and that is why we make available platforms like this to constantly engage you and make sure that the right decisions are made from the informed point of view. Let me pick a couple of your calls before I take my first break by 5 o'clock to take deadline news, and also quickly pay some bills. And when we come back, I would read your messages and I also respond to some of the messages you've dropped on Facebook. Facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. We're also streaming on YouTube, Mainland FM. And in case you're leaving town and you want to listen to us from any part of the world, just download the Radio Garden and search for Mainland 98.3 FM. We're always there with you to inform you, to educate you, and also to keep you entertained. Okay, let me read a couple of your messages, then we'll move on. This one says, good afternoon, and to everyone in the studio. I live in Ogun State, and Dr. Abiodun is the governor who never cared about the people. We have the worst road for the past 5 years. He's been in power, but nothing to show for it. If a local government is under debt trap because of bad roads, the governor interview has no basis. He's not the spokesperson of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm very surprised that Governor Dr. Abiodun is talking like he was on a campaign ground. Maybe he's just woken up. He should go back to the palace and not the government house. That's Bob Kentimi from Agbado. Okay. Thank you very much. This one says, good evening. God bless your guest. He's spoken well. Nigerians would continue to ask questions until the right things are being done. Even when the system is working, would continue to ask questions. When you go to UK, people are protesting. You go to US, people are protesting. Everywhere in the world, protest is part of a viable democracy. Thank you very much. That is Festus from Ikorodu. Thank you for your message. This one says, it is the media in their fear that protest may result in burning down things that kept churning out wrong narratives that the people can counter protest. Even the law did not mention counter protest. The law only provided for rights to protest and the limit of that same protest. It is not mentioned counter protest by the people, but the politicians saw the counter protest and the media bought into it free of charge. Look, it is the counter protest that is illegal, and the security agencies should arrest, lock up those carrying out counter protest, and throw away the keys. Again, we wish to warn that for the fear and frustration being created in the policy may lead to coup. It was former General Babangida that told us that the military can result from frustration in the polity. The Nigerian people are grappling with frustrations now. So Chukwuadili Thompson from Obanikoro. Okay. This one says, it is unfortunate that the police force doesn't know how to handle a peaceful protest. The latter led to 16 innocent people that have been reportedly killed, and a lot of buses conveying counter protesters yesterday in Abuja to disturb and intimidate real protesters. As if it was not enough, tear gas was used to disperse peaceful protesters. A case study was the NSAS protest in 2023 elections. Okay, thank you very much. I got that one as well. And let me quickly check your direct messages. 0913-600-0410. This one says, it is unbelievable that we're seeing this shenanigans attitude from the man that we consider as one of the Democrats in the country. Do you know he succeeded in dividing the country, 6 geopolitical zones, families against one another in the name of governing the country? Even the division in the Yoruba land, no one is talking about it. Okay. It says, it is a shame, and I pray that the Lord would open the eyes to shun politics of ethnic division in 2027 elections. Yes. More messages. I just want to take a lot of the messages, then we'll come back and talk about pick your calls. And this one says, sore losers means violent protest. Stop promoting lies on your show. Peter from Agbado. Thank you very much for your contribution. 0913-600-0410. Let me read more of your messages. And I also go on Facebook, Facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. In case you missed the session, well, it's okay. We'll continue it on Monday 4 to 5:30 p.m. And then I'm very sure that maybe the issue of the protests could have probably just, maybe calm down a bit. Larry Olakomi says, the only thing I'm missing in the statement credited to Governor Dapo Abiodun is the word some. Okay. The statement made by Dapo Abiodun is an indication that he is totally disconnected from the plight of the poor masses of this country. The statement sounds so reckless and lacks empathy. Let him show you what he has done since he became governor of Ogun State in the last 5 years. Okay. Kabir Adegbero says, I'm really disappointed in our politicians, the way they are taking us for granted. Governor Dapo Abiodun calling Nigerians sore losers at that moment when the country is boiling. They're just shifting the blame from the failure on those who lost out in the last election. The president should come out to address the nation now to calm the tension in the land. God bless my country, Nigeria. And Kabir Adegbero, I say, God bless you too. Larry Olakomi is also texting us on Facebook, and he says, what has the governor said that you wanted to make mountain of a molehill? Okay, I'm someone losing interest in all of these narrative. If a caller should call, okay, thank you, Larry Olakomi. I had to just filter your message so that we can be a bit civil. Let me pick your calls. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Alhaji Subar.
You're welcome, Alhaji Subar.
Thank you very much. Let me appreciate your guests in saying the truth. Look at the information they give about opposition. It is true. We don't have opposition. Look at the narrative he said about Atiku Abubakar. The same thing with the Obi themselves. They are all of the same feather. Let me tell you. Let me ask you, the moderator. Since 25 years down the line of democracy, look, what is our benefit? I want to ask, let Nigeria hear, what is our benefit? You see, the Nigerians become poorer and poorer, while the airline become richer. So, you see, it's a continuous something. It is not today this thing has been happening. That is the truth. So, look, especially look at all our governors. They from governor, they go to senate or whatever. So, that is the analogy. But my own problem now is, protest is a way of communicating to the government for, expressing whatever the grievances we have. But along the line, you see these politicians, some of them, they are hiding under this, the protest issue. And we cannot allow them to destroy this country because of their selfish interest. My own advice to the president is this. Well, 4 years or whatever years is within the corner. Let him do what is needful to Nigeria. The governors too, they are a problem. They disappointed us, all of them, all the governors. Look at the minimum wage. Abia, you understand? The minimum, is he paying it? So many of them. You see, but my own advice to the governors have disappointed the president. Let him do directly what he's supposed to do to Nigeria, especially the security for our people to go to farm. We are not lazy people. The refinery is there. Thank 2 decades now. Our refinery has not working.
Thank you.
So let me appreciate you for the Dangote that is so before the end of this month. Let's see the price going down. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. I'm seeing some very interesting messages here. But I want to appeal to you to be very civil when sending all of these messages. I'm just here to coordinate the show. I'm not the president. Neither am I the spokesperson of the president. Neither am I a coordinator of any protest whatsoever. And please, let us, like I said, be as civil as we can be, so that we have to respect everyone's opinion. It's unfortunate that our security and other institutions have also been compromised by one man. Like they say, loyalty na cash and carry. Okay? Thank you very much. This one says, I'm Honorable Umar Ismail from Ijayo Jokoro. Commander Yinka has spoken well, and I totally agree with him on the issue of security personnel failure to carry out their constitutional responsibility of protecting the lives and properties of protesters. But I'll take a break. When I come back, your calls, your messages, then we'll have a good time on the show. Stick around for the headline news. and pay some bills, and I'll be back.
Open defecation in Nigeria perpetuates a cycle of poor health, environmental degradation, and undermines human dignity. With approximately 47 million people practicing open defecation nationwide, Nigeria ranks among the top countries globally with the highest number of individuals who lack access to proper sanitation facilities. The stats look grim. The overriding effect in itself can be terrible to our general well-being. In that light, we from Mainland 98.3 FM call on the government to increase its efforts in providing public toilets to end this scourge. And we also encourage the citizenry to imbibe proper hygiene and not defecate in public.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all the things that you said we were to gain?
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Peter Obi demands arrest and prosecution of perpetrators threatening Igbos. Protest. Military vows to deal with looters. Atiku praises #End Bad Governance in Nigeria protesters and urges Tinubu to listen to citizens. On the foreign scene, Blinken. Overwhelming evidence shows Venezuelan opposition candidate won presidential election. Former CNN host Don Lemon sues Elon Musk for breach of contract. In sports, Paris 2024, Talu Smith, Fraser Price, Nata and Richardson lead firecracking sub-11s runners in women's 100-meter hits. That's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos. Fixing your damaged phone just feels like a lot of wahala and can be very expensive, right? But not anymore. MTN is here with a solution to help you protect your phones. Accident happens. So imagine this. Your phone falls into water. No wahala. Your screen cracks. No wahala. Your phone gets burned. No wahala. Why? Because accidental damages are also covered. Even if you're lazy like me and cannot cope with the stress of getting your phone fixed, your damaged phone will be picked up, fixed and dropped off, all while you chill at home. And the best part is, you also enjoy free MTN data when you purchase any device protection plan. Seriously, who doesn't love free data? You also enjoy free MTN data when you purchase any device protection plan. To enjoy your device with peace of mind, visit mtn.ng/device services to get your pocket-friendly device protection plan. MTN, outdo yourself.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Spot that smartphone you've been eyeing? That one that
that seems just out of reach because of its hefty price tag? Hold up, MTN is got your back, bringing you an effortless way to snag your dream phone without emptying your pocket with Easy Buy. Choose any phone you fancy and conveniently spread the payment over 3 to 12 months. Keep your budget intact and your smartphone dreams. But wait, there's more. Not only do you get to enjoy budget-friendly payment option, but you also enjoy up to 10 gig free MTN data. Now, that's a steal. Don't watch your dream phone slip away. What are you waiting for? Visit the nearest mobile phone retail outlet. Look for the Easy Buy agent. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. What are you doing today?
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Attention everyone, this is an important message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean, safe water. Boil or treat your water before drinking. Wash your hands with soap and clean water, especially before eating and after using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly. If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
Together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing. We are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join WG=M소ɪᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial. Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situation.
Glad to have you back. The full bulletin would come on by 5:30 and by 6 o'clock we'll come around for the Friday edition of Sport Cruise on Mainland 98.3 FM. Well, for the first time in their history, Morocco had qualified for the semi-final of the Olympics competition. Well, becoming the first Northern African country to do that behind Egypt that did in 1928 and 1964. The Moroccans, the Atlas Lions of Morocco, or the Junior Atlas like they call them, defeated the United States by 4-0. We'll give you details of that. And the athletics they won was today. Mixed results. One of our athletes qualified for the semi-final for the 100 meters. The other two did not make it through in the long jump as well. We've crashed out. All of that will be by 6 o'clock. Let's get back into the situation room. 0913-600-0410. Earlier on the show, Comrade Ayoyinka Oni joined me, and he was the coordinator for the Take It Back movement, Lagos State. But of course, he's been at the forefront of the people, giving a face to the protest. Day 2 today, we looked at how everything is going in the face of all of the threats. Lagosians still came out today. While I was at Ojota, we saw a couple of buses that came in. People wanted to disrupt the protest. But, order was maintained. There was calmness, and everybody just kept on doing what they were doing. And for the second day running, the protest is still peaceful in Lagos as against what we've seen in some other states across the country. Curfews have been declared in some of those states, and let's just hope that the government would listen to what the people are asking. There's no justification whatsoever for destruction of lives and properties during protest. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense to me. When you go into an empowerment center that had not been commissioned and billions of taxpayers' money were used to build that place, I'm talking about the Nigerian Communication, Commission Empowerment Center in Kano that was, raised. Part of it was raised down yesterday, but the whole building was looted to the ground. It's distasteful, to say the least. So hopefully the people that were arrested and also caught with looted rice and bag of rice, kegs of groundnut oil, some of them have been arrested, will be treated like bloody criminals that they are, because the constitution allows you to protest but does not allow you to also loot and steal, destroy public properties. I saw people damaging traffic lights, and I'm like, how does damaging public infrastructure send the right message to the people you are trying to speak to? Or how does looting other people's businesses, other struggling Nigerians' business also validate what you're asking for? It's a criminal behavior. And for those that will be arrested or that have been arrested, they should be treated the same way. They're criminals and they should face the full wrath of the law. But for those that are doing theirs peacefully and within the provision of the constitution, they should be protected at all costs. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Okay.
Good to have you join us today on the show, Pastor Ambrose.
Good evening.
You're welcome.
Sometimes I don't want to talk. Some people just make me to talk.
It's okay.
I want to ask questions, and I have the answers.
Okay. So it's not a question I have to answer, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Go on.
It's like Abiodun that says some people are so losers. How many votes did he use to win at Debutu? Even the Tinubu that lost in Lagos is more popular, or rather more popular than him here. Because a lot of people voted for Tinubu. They said they won't vote for Prince Dapo. So when you say so losers, do you understand exactly what you are saying? You didn't even come to address people. You are saying 2027. How did the election that even got you there? How credible was it? You, Prince Dapo Abiodun. Then I want to ask another question again. Could this be the reason why Tinubu say Emilokan? If we say democracy, even before the primaries, he said Emilokan. So it means that, is that democracy? Because they are saying democracy now. The man took that position even in the primary by force. How do I mean? The former president wanted to deny him. And then he made sure that he fought. It was in Ogun State here. He said, Emilokan, Elofon Konbale, Amagbepo Wale, youth, after my turn, it's your turn. Is that democracy? So what I'm saying in essence is this. As Ope, let us allow democracy work. We are talking of all these things now. We are not talking of 2027. No. The process and the credibility of 2027. Nobody is talking about it now. And okay, I am talking to you. The money I used to eat before, half of the month more. You are beating me, say I should not cry. And we have more than 200 million people. The people that voted for you are less than 10 million. So why are you saying that majority? Honestly, we are hungry. We are hungry.
Thank you.
We are hungry. Things are not okay for us. Good evening.
Thank you very much. 09136000410. Larry Olakomi, I mean, all of your messages have been very personal and attacking today, but I'll continue to pick them. Larry Olakomi says, continue to filter my message, which in your own understanding is derogatory. You preach for free press, but what I'm saying now is opposite. I wish your station best of luck. Larry Olakomi, I also wish you best of luck. You know, you have to be responsible with how you address or respond to opinions on spaces like this, because you never can tell who listens to you. You never can the way you send them, because it's not just about putting my station or my organization in trouble. It is sending the wrong signal to the people. I understand that people want to express their thoughts, but this is not a WhatsApp status. It is an open space. Thank you. Let me also pick your call, 09136000410. Hello, good afternoon, or good evening.
Engineer Nee from Yaba.
Engineer Nee from Yaba.
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome.
It's a terrible something that we are experiencing, most especially this protest that they have to focus. What happened in Abuja was appalling. Focusing directly on the chairman of Council of Journalism there, and three other pressmen that were directly maligned, even maltreated with forces that they are keeping them in safety, something, pulling them with their belt and their trousers. It's a terrible thing in a democracy to witness that. And I want to react to the people that say that opposition don't act. You read Sandra read in our news now that Atiku said is significant. What is going on is very significant. You can study that in the dictionary, meaning that they are in support of what is for the protest. And Atiku tell it out that we don't need to run. Government need not to run those refineries. We want to sell them out, because we know that the more you continue to run it with public funds, the more people take advantage of it. Only with Babariga and Kakia, they will be going there to collect money. They won't do anything. They won't let it work. But if it is being run by, okay, the person that took off the subsidy, has he repaired it? He needs to repair it. Repair it. He's just looking for who is the best fit for him to sell it to. That is just what I put it across to. I put it to public domain. That is what is looking for.
Thank you very much. More messages. Okay. If Yoma Olukwese says, I beg, I'm not seeing Omoyele in this protest after calling it out from most radio stations. I be on a Siam. Well, I remember last week Friday I asked the comrade, and on record, that one of the rules of engagement for situations like this is you have to lead from the front. So I asked him, Comrade Omoyele, would you be in Nigeria or not before 1st of August? And his response was very clear. He said he's going to be actively involved in the protest. Whatever that means, it is for us to decide. Let me read more of your messages and also pick your calls in between. You're live on Mila 98.3 FM. Okay. This one says, my name is Kayode from Ikotu. Happy weekend to you. It's quite unfortunate that we've added more problems to the lingering crisis. The end of this protest is better imagined. Well, we hope that it ends well. I really pray as well. Victor Aloy Igboke from Orile is talking to us and says, I give kudos to your guest today. I'm so proud of him and other comrades who refuse to be caged by the propagandists and divide and rule tacticians in these governments. I only disagree with his position that it's only their party that is the only true opposition party. And Mr. Peter Obi has been doing his best, considering the fact that this APC-led government has been trying to set trap for him to rope him into using all manners of political tactics. Nigerians know what is going on, except we want to pretend. The protests will go on until the government yields to the demands of the people, and I so submit. Thank you very much, Victor Aloy Igboki, all the way from all the way from Orila Agigi. Thank you very much. Let me pick your call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
You're welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Okambolina.
Good to have you join us on the show today.
Are you surprised that the president has not made any broadcast? When everybody is saying, come and address us, come and address us. Are you surprised? My brother, is you I'm asking. Are you surprised that there's a popular opinion that come and address us and he refused?
I'm not supposed to have an opinion, so my answer will not make any difference.
Let me tell you, they believe that money is the only thing that can solve their problem is money. Don't be surprised that they are planning to invite more traditional rulers, more faith pastors, more how do you call them? All those politicians to give them more money to go and stop the protest, rather than speaking with us. That's where we find ourselves. Money is what they believe. They believe they can use money to even come back in 2027, irrespective of whether they have ruled us well or not. So that is their thinking now. They will not address you. 2027, they will still come back using money. So it doesn't concern what you are doing now. Good evening.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show. More messages. God bless comrade. I saw him at the protest ground yesterday. We took the picture. The Nigerian population need to understand that the government are doing their very best, and the government also need to understand that the Nigerian populations are tolerating a lot. One man was interviewed. Okay, thank you very much, Stephen from Ikorodu. I understand the story you wanted to say. A man was interviewed yesterday, and he said he rode his bike all the way from Festac to Ojota because he would rather die on the road than die at home. That his son is, I think, 14-year-old or 11-year-old, and is a good programmer, but he cannot afford to buy a programming software for him, or a laptop, and this and that. And as at this morning around 9:30, when I checked update on that, he said, I think they said the estimate of everything in India was 1.8 million. As at this morning, Nigerians have donated almost 3 million for the man. I mean, that's how Nigerians can open up and, just coming up in the midst of all of these, the 5,000s, the 100,000, the 20,000s, and then the man released a video appreciating Nigerians, and he says the money still keep coming in despite the fact that he's gotten enough that he needs for his child. Give it to Nigerians. We're good people. We are amazing people. Sometimes you look at the quality of our leadership, you look at how the old divide and rule conversation had broken us into different biases, religious, political, tribal. But when you look at how Nigerians come together, you go watch ball in the viewing center, for instance. Everybody scores, or a team scores, and everybody jubilates. I remember the night the 2018 World Cup in Russia, when Nigeria defeated Iceland 2-0, and then the then captain of the team, Ahmed Musa, scored both goals that night. If Ahmed Musa had contested for president of this country, I'm sure he would have won. Nobody cares what religions you practice. Nobody cares what language you speak. Everybody comes together to celebrate. When did the Tigress won the Australians some days back at the ongoing Olympics? I saw a lot of tweets. Nobody cares whether you're from Lagos. Nobody cares whether you're from Borno. When the country is winning, everybody wins together. So why should we allow the leaders to divide us because of their own interest? It is wrong. It is absolutely wrong to the Nigerian spirit. I've seen Nigerians pull through. I've seen Nigerians come through for people they probably would never meet in their entire life because they are good people. We are good people. Prince Wise.
We are good people. Truly, you talk, Gary. Okay,
I'm with you.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless your management. My Nigeria country, God will bless our way. You see, I must pray those people who went on prison yesterday. I pray them in Lagos there. They are still in Nigeria. If they want to spend 10 days, it's allowed. Let them stay there. It's peaceful as it is now. And you see, what the governor of Ogun said, yes, those who voted for Asiwaju, those who voted for all of them, I think Asiwaju Ghana the highest vote. Not one Nigeria that went to vote, but those millions that voted.
Prince Wise. Prince Wise, can I ask you a question?
Okay, go ahead.
But was it right for the governor of a state like Ogun State, in fact, a governor of any state whatsoever, even is a governor of Bayelsa, that is supposed to be the smallest state in the country, does he have any moral justification to call people bad losers? There are people that are non-APC in Ogun State. So is that the way he sees members of other political parties in the state that voted against him? Does he see them as bad losers?
What is what I said is some Nigeria loser, some politicians that use the lesson, they are so loser.
Prince Wise, no. Unfortunately, I'll disagree with you. No Nigerian should be called a bad loser, whether you are by the governor or by anybody. I can choose to vote for party XYZ because of my political preference. It doesn't make me a bad loser. You can't justify that some people or some. No. It's a wrong thing that is coming out from a democratically elected governor. That even his performance have been questioned. About 2 weeks ago on X, a lot of people were asking, send videos of bad roads, infrastructures in Ogun State. The governor was forced to come and speak. He was forced to visit some of those places. There's no justification for that. Whether it's party XYZ, it's party OOY, as long as you're a governor of a state, you're governing everybody. You're governing every member of the 18 political parties that are registered in this country. And every single one of them must be respected, whether they voted for you or not. They pay tax, and people don't pay tax in this country along political divide. They don't say because you are APC, you are exempted from paying tax. Let's get that straight. Let me talk to my last caller on the show for the week. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. This is Pastor Badamosi. Can I continue?
Please go on, please, very quickly.
Yeah. Kudos to you. You have done that. I had it yesterday. Thank you very much. You see, the government in power is actually hamstrung. It's like his hands were tied. You see, Nigeria is owing a lot of money, and before they can ever loan you again, you will give them a guarantee that you will pay back. So, removing subsidy, removing this, making for more money, and all that, it's like a dictate from the IMF. It's from the World Bank. Nigeria is almost bankrupt before it came in. So, and they are trying a lot to maneuver, to navigate the ship of Nigeria so that things sink. I'm really I pity him, but coming and please, my own is that let us have a lot of patience, and I think things will go well. I think so, because I think he's not even sleeping. Tinubu is not sleeping. I'm sure of that. And most of his people, some people have bad mouth, yes. But as far as I am concerned, they are working around the clock. Because if they don't work around the clock, it will be a big. And what we are Nigerians even facing now is more political than economic. More political. You see, Nigeria.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been a very difficult week. From all sides, from all of us here, and that was why I said today we're going to pick quite a lot of calls. Unfortunately, I had to speak to comrade Comrade AY. Just to give us updates. Well, it's not even an unfortunate situation, actually. I mean, we had an idea of what is going on the field, which Mainland FM had also provided extensive coverage, even across the federation. We had someone join us from Onitsha yesterday, giving us updates that there are no protests in all of the 5 southeastern states. My name is Oᴑyẹmí Akínyẹ̀dé. It's a Friday, and I appeal to you to join me again by 6 to 7 p.m. for Sport Cruise. Let's talk about Team Nigeria and the ongoing Olympics, and also talk about some transfer stories. Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and remember, it is Nigeria first before anything else.